with me on the stage there is Eleftheria. The fun fact is that Eleftheria in Greeks means freedom. And freedom is what we are going to gain after these 2 days and after our talk.
So it's very suitable.
So, have a great last talk. Eleftheria.
And I hope that you had a nice coffee, a nice break. And now you're ready for our very last talk. And after that, yes, you are free. You can do whatever you want. So already we had a lot of technical talks, like high-level stuff. And this talk is not technical. It's not at all technical. Like the biggest word that you're going to hear is just JavaScript, nothing else. But I hope that after this talk you will get inspired to work on some of your stuff, some of the stuff you learned the last few days, and hopefully you'll do some great things. So, when you think there is no time for learning or coding, because we all want to do some great stuff, but sometimes you're like, okay, but I don't have time, I do that later, I'll do that the next day, and we never do it. So I hope that after this talk, you will find some solutions on how to find the time, how to create habits, and how to do what you really like and what you really enjoy, which is usually coding again, but we will not talk specifically about your work or things that you do at your work, but maybe we will talk about things that you want to develop, which again is usually related to coding, but yep. My name is Eleftheria, I'm coming from Greece. Currently I'm community manager at Hashnode. Hashnode is a blogging platform, a free blogging platform, and you can find me on my social media or email. I'm very active on social media, but if you want to ask me anything, you can do it either after this talk or in socials. Okay, pretty much I covered what we are going to see in this session. Briefly, we're going to talk about how I started my career. We will use me as an example, and then we will talk about habits, how to form habits, why habits are important, and last but not least, how to deal with frustration, with stress, maybe how to deal with your colleagues, how to deal with burnout, and stuff like that. Let's get started. So, I graduated from an engineering university, which means that I did a lot of maths, a lot of physics, a lot of electronics, but not a lot of coding. And I did an internship in Greece. It was about, it was just 3 months, and it was with coding, with front-end development. So I said, okay, I kind of like that. And I was pretty excited that I was going to graduate from a university. It was 5 years, it was very long, it was super hard. But at the same time, I was feeling kind of lost. Okay, like, what am I doing around? It was everything in my mind, like I didn't have any plans or really anything. So I decided to do another internship, and this time that internship would be in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and again it was in a startup company, and I would be a front-end developer there. Yep, that was okay, but still my level was not very good. Like after that internship, what would I do? I had no idea. Every morning, back then and since and until today, I like to read articles. And you'll say, okay, how are these two things related? So back then, one rainy morning, I read an article that it was about 100 days of code. Now, how many of you know the challenge of 100 days of code? Okay, we have many people, great. So one morning I found this article that was describing this challenge. 100 days of code, for those of you who don't know it, it's a challenge that you basically have to code for 100 days straight, and you're coding for at least 1 hour. You can code whatever you like, and after that you will upload it on GitHub and also share your progress, usually on Twitter, but maybe on other social media as well. Back then, I didn't use GitHub, I didn't use any other version control system, I wasn't using Twitter or any other social media, so these were some challenges along with the actual challenge. But I was very, very excited, so I said, yes, let's do that, challenge accepted. And that's how I started to code a bit. Now, what did I code? What did I wanted to build? What I wanted to do? Back then, I wanted to be a front-end developer, so my focus was there. And a lot of people that were seeing my journey started to asking, okay, how can I become one? Or how can I learn stuff, or how do I build? And there are endless options. I'm sure that most of you know those stuff, so I'm not going into details. But you know, Udemy, Coursera, Udacity, YouTube, online publications, magazines, books, and everything. Also, if you want some inspiration, you can read blogs, browse again like different forums, go to Twitter, go to, I don't know what you like, but I'm sure you will find some inspiration, and then you can build again what you like. For everyone is different. Now, specifically, what I wanted, I started seeing like these pages that were listing jobs, and everyone was like, okay, we want a rock star, we want this and this and this, but everyone wanted a rock star. So I said, okay, I will become a rock star in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's it. That's just it. And also, of course, I will learn the basics of Git and GitHub because, again, I saw that everyone was asking that. And then I decided to learn a framework and maybe a library. For the framework, I decided to go with AngularJS. Now, that was not a good decision. And yeah, for those of you who may not know that, AngularJS is now deprecated. We have Angular, yes, 2 and plus, but it's completely different from AngularJS. And for a beginner, that was a bit shocking, but okay. The other one, I decided to go with a data visualization library, D3GS. That was actually a really good option because that's how I found my first freelancing job, and we will talk about that in a bit. Okay. So what did I build? The first thing, my first goal was to learn HTML and CSS. So I took part in another challenge called Daily CSS Images. And in this challenge, for 50 days, you were getting a theme in your email, and you had to code that. And maybe it was something simple like a pen and paper that you had to do only with CSS. Maybe it was, I don't know, Superman or a pizza or a hamburger. So my first sketches, it was not sketches, it was CSS, were very simple stuff, but then I believe that I got somehow better and I started to develop more advanced stuff, again only with CSS and some animation, so things started to look a bit better. My next goal was to improve myself at JavaScript, so I started building small games. This is like the tic-tac-toe game and also the Simon Says game, and the inspiration from this is coming from Free Code Camp. So who knows Free Code Camp? Come on, people? Yes. Okay, cool. Free Code Camp, for those of you who don't know it, it's a great free source to learn. It basically has everything these days. And then I started working a little bit with AngularJS. Let's keep that, let's keep that. And then I started learning D3GS. That was actually really cool because while I was learning, everything that I was doing, I started using YouTube as a platform, as a creator. So everything that I was doing at that point, I was uploading everything on YouTube. So I did that, I was showing the coding, I was showing how I did it, and this brought me some traction. So that's how, this is a parenthesis, but that's how I found my first freelancing job, because someone saw what I was doing on YouTube with D3GS and they said, okay, can you build this for me? I was very shocked at that point because I hadn't worked professionally nowhere. And I said, yeah, but I don't know if I can do it. They say, okay, if you do those things on YouTube, you can probably do this for us. And long story short, it worked well. Okay, and then I took part in some other challenges. I don't know why, but I like challenges. That one was daily UI, and for 50 days, again, you had to build something. That challenge is a bit more focused on design, but I tried to combine design with coding, and I slowly realized that I like app development. So again, I was trying to code for Android, iOS, and also be a bit more careful with what I'm designing. Okay, so now I have mentioned a few challenges, so let's actually see what I did. I did a few things, okay? Yeah. Let's see the first one, which is the 100 days of code. If you see the starting date, it's on New Year's Eve. So most people that day will be with family, friends, or will go out and party. No, I was at home, at my desk, and I would say, okay, let's start coding for real this time. No life, developer stuff, you know. Then if you see like the third challenge, which is the daily CSS images, again, if you notice the day that I started the challenge, it's February 14, you know, Valentine's Day. I didn't have anything else to do, so I said, okay, let's start with another challenge. Why not? Developers forever alone, yay! Okay, I did quite a few things. But while I was doing all of these things, people again started to notice me and said, okay, but how can you do this stuff? Like, what motivates you? What inspires you? And for me, although I'm not a perfectionist, I always believe that we can improve ourselves. So I was trying to improve and improve and improve and do more stuff. And that gives me, back then and still now, that gives me the motive to continue. Maybe for you it's something different. Maybe you want a promotion. Maybe you want a pay rise. Maybe you want something else. It's something like very, very personal, and that's okay. Okay, so by doing all the challenges and by trying to improve myself, I also learned quite a few things. I learned to be more optimistic and grateful for the things that I have done, but also for the people that I had near me. Because, you know, sometimes they say, okay, let's go out to the cinema for a beer, for something. And I'm like, no, I'll stay home. I will read, I will work, I will study. So yeah, you have to have some nice people around you as well. I believe that I got better at time management because at the point I had my work, 8 hours of work, maybe I had my master because at the same time I started doing my master. So I had also to code, maybe to upload a YouTube video. So I was doing a lot of things at the same time. Hence, I believe I got a little bit better at time management. And I also met a lot of people, a lot of interesting people. I started talking with them, and that inspired me to get even better. And I also got the chance to travel a lot. I know this maybe sound a little bit irrelevant, but again, it's not. Because through my work, I'm able to travel, go to new places like here, meet people, and do again like some awesome stuff. All right, now, would I recommend a challenge like this? Yes, obviously, of course. If you want to get better, if you want to improve yourself, if you want to express yourself, of course, feel free to do something like that. And now let's move to the second part of my talk, which is habit formation and hacking time. By doing all of this stuff, I learned to form some habits. And of course, it took time. It's not always easy, but by practice, we can achieve everything, I want to believe. And this is also a quote that I really like. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. So, you know, when your friends are calling you to go out and you have to stay at home to study or work, yes, that's not easy. But in the end, it's going to be worth it. So let's get now to the crucial part of how do we form habits. The first thing that we have to understand and to realize is that resistance is always there and it always gets you. Dare to do something good and resistance will be there. Like try to go to the gym, resistance will be there. Try to eat the healthy fruit, no resistance will be there. It's always there. But that's the first step. It's okay. We have just to acknowledge that and move on after that part. And some things that can help you on that is setting some limits. Some people like limits, some people don't like limits, but let's try to work on that. For example, don't spray your efforts around. Focus on one thing at a time, and that's very, very important. Multitasking, yeah, maybe you think you're good at that. You're not. Sorry, you're not. Like there are many researches that back this thing up. So as humans, we are not good at multitasking. So focus on one thing at a time, finish that, and then go to the next one. Trust me, all right? Trust me. And try for consistency over volume. If you have like a big project that seems chaotic, yes, maybe it's chaotic, but try every day to do something, even if it's something small. Don't leave everything for last minute or the weekend. No, just start doing something, even if it's something simple, just do it. And the next day you can continue with that. And my last tip here, which may sound a bit controversial, it's better to have just a little free time rather than too much. And I will explain myself. When I have too much time, we will say, okay, I will do that later and later and later. And that never comes. So start by doing something small, as I said, and then if you feel that you have a lot of time, then you can go for a pizza, go for a coffee, go for drinks. But first, do the thing that you have to do. And also, track your progress visually. Here I have two things. Don't break the chain is one of them. And we are visual creatures. Most of us are visual creatures. So we have to see something, and if we see that something, then we don't want to break it. And the image that you see here is the example from when I was doing the 100 days of code. I really wanted all the tiles to be green. They're not all of them, but I was at least trying. And the next one, which I guess that most of you are doing it, is keeping a calendar, a to-do list, or something like that. If you don't do that already, do it. Like, really do it. You will see that your productivity will go up. I guarantee that. Every day, write your to-do list. Every week, write your to-do list. You can write it wherever you want, because some people ask me like where to write it, like whatever. I'm a simple person. I like pen and paper. For you, maybe you like to write it in a cool, a fancy app. All right, just do it. Do it. And then you can go back, see your progress, and all stuff like that. Now some more examples. First of all, the idea is to make the unwanted behavior difficult to be performed and the easy behavior, like the wanted behavior, easier to be performed. And that should be always your goal. We will talk in a bit about how you can achieve that. But now some more specific examples, and I will not talk about coding as you have seen until now, is that, for example, in your fridge, don't, if you're dieting, don't have cookies or ice cream or something like that. Just keep fruits. That will be the easier solution for you if you get hungry. And the unwanted behavior will be far away, maybe to the groceries, to the supermarket. Now, if you want to code something, have everything prepared for you. Have your passwords ready, your software ready, have everything ready. So when you sit on your laptop, you can just start coding. That will be the easy part for you. And something very, very important that I feel that most of us, if not all, we are getting very easily distracted by our phone, right? Right? Can I see some hands here? Like, the phone is always a problem. Some things that you can do to help you is like have it on silent mode or flight mode, and have it in another room. If you can have it in another room, if you can't reach it by your hand, like you're here, if you can't reach it, that's the goal. That's what you want. And it takes practice. It takes practice. It's not easy. So the first few times you will try to grab it, but it's not going to be there, and that's the goal. And after a few times, you will realize that it's easier working without your phone. If someone really needs you, yes, they will call you, you will hear the phone, and you can go there. But you don't need to check social media every 5 minutes or other notifications every 5 minutes. Been there, done that, we don't want that, okay? Now, so some other, it's a cycle. We will talk about that. It's a great book. It's called Atomic Habits, which talks a lot about habits, obviously. And this talk has some elements from that book. So I took this part because I feel that it's very important, and it's about how we form habits. And we already discussed that with some of you, the last few days. So the first thing is there are 4 rules. The first thing is make it obvious. The thing or the habit that you want, make it obvious, and pay attention to your cue and make it invisible, because as we said in the beginning, you will feel the resistance. So that's what we want to eliminate. Then we have the second law, which is make it attractive. Now we have passed to the second stage, that we know what we want, we are trying to change it, and we have to make it attractive so we can work on that. Because let's face it, like coding can be hard. Yes, we like it, but sometimes we will prefer to go out or watch some Netflix or do something else. So that's a big part. And then it says like make it easy. That's also something that we have to work on. It's not easy to make it easy, but it depends on what we are doing. I believe that we can find some solutions on making things easier, make the act of doing something easier. I don't mean make like the code easy, because maybe that's not feasible, but making the action of coding, for example, easier. And the last law is make it satisfying. After you've done it, after you have completed something, this will give you some satisfaction, and maybe you want to give a reward to yourself, or maybe you want something else. Try to understand that moment and really grasp it. It will give you satisfaction, and that's something that we want. Because when we feel satisfied, then it will be easier for us the next time to do the same thing. And it's really a cycle. It's like a loop. It's a never-ending loop. And it takes time to really understand it, but it is important. So now, the other very, very crucial question is, okay, I want to do this and this and this, but I don't have time. What do I do that? Well, guess what? Everyone has 24 hours. Now, how we work on those 24 hours, that's the different part for all of us. So I try to find some solutions on that as well. And I have some tips here. First of all, be ruthless with what you want to do and with what you want to build or learn. I know that I want to learn and I want to do a lot of stuff, and I'm always very passionate about doing, and I always have a lot of ideas in my mind of the things that I want to do and build. So if you are someone like me, really be ruthless, maybe write everything down and see what you really want, because maybe there are some things that you prefer. The other tip is, if you are trying to create something, if you're trying to make a habit, don't try to change everything at once. Maybe try to change 1-2 things at a time. And that's why New Year's resolutions never work, because we are trying to change everything, like 10 different things at the same time. No, that's not working, but 1 or 2 things, it's okay. And make it so small that you cannot say no. Make it really, really so small. If you want to study, or if you want to go to the gym, say, okay, I will study today just for 20 minutes. And then I'm sure that in the 24 hours you can find 20 minutes. Or if you want to go to the gym, but you lack the motivation, say, okay, I will go just for 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes, it's like nothing. But if you do the first step to go to the gym, then I'm sure that you will stay for more than 10 minutes. But 10 minutes, it's just a trick. It's a trick for our minds. If we feel that something is small or we can achieve it, it's easier to actually do it. And that's something that we want to achieve. Start from something and think not only the best case scenario, but also the worst. This works again, trust me. When we think about the catastrophe, we are a little bit more eager on doing stuff. And last but not least, have a minimum standard, and you can always do more. And I think that with the example I gave you with the gym, you can understand that. Okay, some other techniques that can help you if you want to do, again, a lot of stuff, as I was saying, is doing 2 opposite things at the same time. Maybe you want to do cooking and coding, maybe music and coding, but don't try to do 2 things at the same time that are very, very similar. For example, don't try to learn JavaScript and Python, because they are quite similar, and if you are a beginner, maybe that's not very good for your mind, but try to do 2 opposite things. And then some other time concepts is the Pomodoro technique, and sorry for that, and maybe you already know that. So in the Pomodoro technique, you work for 20 or 25 minutes, very, very focused, and then for 5 minutes you will take a break and try to repeat this cycle as many times as you can. For some people, 20 minutes, it's okay. For some people, maybe they want 25 minutes, maybe they want 15 minutes. Again, feel free to adjust that time. But it's important to take breaks. Be really focused for a specific amount of time and then take a short break, and preferably in that break stay away from screens, from your mobile, your laptop, from TV, from whatever. Try to walk up to walk, maybe drink some water or something, go out in the sun, just do something. And the last one is the Pareto's principle. This is not like a minds thing, but this is also let's say a small rule that says that 20% of your output is coming, 20% of your input is coming from 80% of your output. So if you can see what you're paying attention to or what works, and then try to reverse that, then you can achieve more and more things. Again, this takes time because you have to observe what works and what doesn't. But if you find that, then it's nice because you can move on and build even better stuff. Okay, so let's see some tips that are maybe not very common, because the other ones maybe, yeah, you pretty much maybe have seen them. So one of those tips is keeping a not to-do list. And in this not to-do list, you will keep everything that you shouldn't do. For example, you shouldn't watch Netflix more than 5 hours a day. You shouldn't drink too much and stuff like that. So write them down and have them somewhere that you always see, like somewhere near your desk, somewhere near your laptop. And again, this will help you a lot, trust me. The other thing is analyze your day, write again everything down, see what works and what doesn't, and the things that won't work for you, just again, eliminate them. Eliminate them once and for all. And the last one is, if you don't have something, imitate it. And I don't mean like fake it till you make it, that's not that. It's more like, for example, someone wants to learn English, but in their country they don't speak good English. What he or she can do is they can go to a Slack channel, a Discord channel, or whatever, and start speaking there. They don't have it near them, maybe they don't have friends, but they can find online friends and do the same thing. And the same goes with coding. Maybe someone is a beginner and wants to find some help, maybe wants to find a mentor or something. Again, go to Discord, to Slack, to, I don't know, to meetups or stuff, and find people and do the same thing. If you can't find people in your area, if they're not like physical meetups and conferences and stuff, maybe there is like a new trend now on Twitter. It's called 100 devs, which people with a lot of experience help people with less experience, and again, it's something free, quickly, and everyone can do it. Just try it. All right, let's move on to community and accountability. And I have here another quote that I really like, which says, great things in business are never done by one person, they are done by a team of people. And what I want to say with this quote is, don't afraid to do things, don't afraid to build things, and don't afraid to do those things in public, because public is what it will keep you accountable and you will keep doing things. Because you will afraid that maybe I will fail, maybe people will notice that I said something but I didn't do it, this will give you the motive to continue building and doing things. Yeah. Connect with others because you want to and not because you have to. If you think that you have to connect with someone, that's the wrong mindset, and we don't want that. Try to make meaningful connections, and don't ignore situations or people. Don't say, I will do that later, I will do that tomorrow. No, like, start doing now. That's our motto. And yeah. Now the third thing, the third part of this session is dealing with frustration, dealing with stress, maybe dealing with colleagues, dealing with burnout. I will try to be brief here, but also provide some good tips and examples. I will start again with a quote here, which says, "It is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." And here the key word is responsive. We all have difficulties in our lives, but it's how we respond to them and it's how responsive we are to them that will help us move on and do hopefully better things. So let's see, maybe you have some problems with your colleagues or at the workspace, at your workspace. Let's see, are you the only person that has these problems? Are there more people? And can you talk with someone with these problems? Maybe your manager, I don't know, someone else. It depends also on your company, if it's a big company or a small company. If you're afraid to talk with your colleagues or someone else from your company, maybe you can find people that used to work there through LinkedIn maybe and ask, okay, did you have that problem? How did you deal with it? And there are always solutions. If you can't find any solution, then leave the place. It doesn't probably worth it. Leave it. You can find something better, I'm sure. Now, another problem is that sometimes people feel that they are not smart enough and they see great developers near them and they say, okay, you know, imposter syndrome and stuff like that. No, let's try to work on that as well. No, that code is hard, is complex, and if it was easy, everyone would do that. Learn how other people started their career. Maybe that will help you. And also, don't compare yourself to others. That's really important, and that's what I see a lot of people still doing. They have a good job, they have a good position, but still they compare themselves to others. No, your career and your journey is very different to someone else's. And yeah, maybe one of the hardest things is dealing with yourself, because again, you think that you're not smart enough, you're not capable enough. Don't judge yourself too hard. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail out of a rule. It's okay to do something silly. We all been there, we all done that, and we will do them again in the future. No one is perfect. And last but not least, don't act like there is something wrong with you, even if you're coming from a different background. Take your experiences and try to move them into the current position and take care of yourself. Now, I have also a few things about burnout. Do I have the time? Yes. Or maybe, okay, I have some time left. So I wanted very quickly to also mention the burnout, because I see a lot of developers have that problem. Before we go to the burnout, I wanted to mention two things. That burnout is a real thing. Some people believe that it's not a real thing, it's just something fancy, or people who have time and money, they want to say that they are burnout. No, that's not that. And also, burnout is not the same as stress. Some people are very stressed and they say that they are burnt out. No, that's not the same thing. Or some people are bored and they don't want to do stuff. Again, that's not burnout. These two things are very different things. So yeah, burnout is about is not enough, feeling that you're not enough and everything you're doing is not enough. Whereas stress is the opposite, is about too much. You feel that you have too much things to do, but if you do them, you will feel accomplished and you will feel happy with yourself. Whereas in burnout, you cannot do things that you used to do, now you cannot do them. Even if you complete something, you're not happy about it, it will be time consuming, whereas maybe you used to do it very fast. So there are many differences. If you're feeling burned out, there are many things that you can do, but the best thing would be to not be in that situation. So if you feel that you're going to be burned out, try to leave that situation as fast as possible. Like, take breaks. I know it's common, I know it's cliche, but really take breaks, it helps. And try to, if you can, try to switch completely. Maybe take breaks for many days, not just one day or a few hours, or try to switch completely to different tasks. That could also help. And I have some other tips here as well. So, yes, I will not mention those things. And thank you very much. That was it. I hope that you liked it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Yeah? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any question in the room? Otherwise, Can I do a question? I want that you launch a message for future developers, for younger developers. So, what's your advice for younger the future tech leaders, future senior leaders who want to grow?
Well, again, it depends on their field, but if they want to grow, I will again advise to keep learning and keep not assuming that they are the best in what they are doing, because there is always space to grow and learn and build things. So that would be.
Thank you. Do we have? Yes, we have. Hey, people on TV, we are trying to read your message.
Gianluca said, "Hi, do you have particular morning routine steps?"
Yeah, kind of. So one of the things that I do is reading in the morning. I already mentioned that. It's a habit that I have for the last 4 or 5 years, but every morning that I will wake up, I will read for at least 20 minutes. Sometimes it goes even more, but that's something that I really, really like. And also something that is hard for people is that they will check their social media. So what I started doing is not like opening the internet in the morning or data in the morning, and I will try to keep that until it's lunchtime or whatever. So we'll check my emails and notifications and everything at lunch break, but in the morning I will try to keep it as free as possible so I can work and treat and do my stuff.
There's more. How to deal with burnout if company does not recognize it?
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, so I have some tips here. And yeah, the people who asked me, you can find me on Twitter and I can give you more tips. But if your company doesn't recognize it, try to work the opposite. Like after work, try not to do anything. Like take long breaks, go out, go in the nature, try to find people to talk to. And maybe if your friends don't want to hear about you, change your friends. You can talk maybe to your parents, to your relatives, or you can, of course, go to a specific person, to a specialized person, and ask for their advice, because I'm not the suitable person for that, but thank you for the question.
And change the company.
Yeah, of course, change the company. Leave toxic places, as we said.
One more.
Thank you.
Someone asked, what if I feel like I lost the will to learn new things?
Okay, that's another good question. Try to find your motivation, but there is a catch here that the motivation faints. We have a spike of dopamine, so when we start doing something, at first we will really like it, and then it will faint. So that's motivation. That's one part. The other thing, and most important, is dedication. Find something that you like, and maybe if you don't like something right now, maybe you like something as a kid, or your friend likes something, and try to build something for them, or for your kid's self. Something like that, okay? Try to find something that you really like, and if you find that, then I'm sure that the passion of learning will come back to you.